Maybe.
Maybe.
Welcome to the Not Move podcast. It is me, Dollface Gremlin, with my boy A Train, and of course, as always, fashionably late, just by a hair. We got our friend Southgate. How you doing today, A Train?
I'm good. How are you, Grim?
Doing all right, man. Southie, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I got chicken cutlet hanging out of my mouth, but I'm all right.
It's
Wow.
sounds like a typical New Yorker, so I'm glad you're in good health then.
How are you?
Hey, I'm not too happy after last night because your Canes got my Penguins again in a shootout. That's twice now in a row, and just seems to be the fate of the Penguins this year since you've elected the Hurricanes as your team, huh, Southgate?
Are you guys allergic to shootouts? I mean, what is the problem? This is like five in a row you've lost.
Yeah, so the Penguins haven't done a good job of having, like, say, a good shootout specialist. And as much as I like Sidney Crosby, to be doing it, I think they need to bump him down, maybe like to a third position. Let someone who maybe one of the younger guys like Kindle give him more of a shot. Mantha, I would like to see a lot more of Mantha. But the Penguins just this has been one of their Achilles heels the last few seasons is not having someone in the shootout who can really just put it home. Used to be one player way back when named Eric Christensen, but that's
Yeah.
over a decade ago.
Who
Yeah. The
was the
king.
guy that just came back from injury?
Well, Malkin came back against the Avalanche, against A Train's Avalanche, and then
Yes. How
Crosby
was he
just
in
came back
shootouts?
last night.
He's
How
playing
was
good.
Malkin in shootouts?
Malkin's he's like a 30-ish%, maybe lower. He's okay. He doesn't always hit, but they don't always throw him on the shootout. That's the thing. They don't always put him on.
I mean, I would say, do you have to have your shootout lineup in before the shootout starts?
I would have to check. I believe you do. I believe you have to submit that beforehand or at least during the intermission. But I know the Penguins have just that's been, like I said, the Achilles heel. They've been looking for a guy to really solidify that position, but Mike Sullivan never wanted to practice it. Also, that's the thing that the Penguins did not do under his regime is practice it give it a go when they have their opportunities at Cranberry and South Point. They just don't go over it. I don't know if that's changed with Dan Muse now at the helm, but I mean, A Train, you guys never seem to have any troubles with shootouts. You got shootout specialists up and down your roster.
Yeah, except for last night. Yeah.
Last night,
So, yeah, just to hit quick on the Canes, I don't want to sell them short. I really don't want to glaze Southgate's inherited team. But yeah, the Canes have led the conference for 19 days now in a row. So let's not sell the Canes short. They're playing good. They're playing good hockey. So you lost to a good team. Again, my team lost to a good team as well. The Avalanche versus the Stars. Here we go. What do I say every week? They're the thorn in our side, right? So I mean, they've pulled within 2 points of us now with this shootout win. Back to back losses, obviously to your Penguins, and then to the Dallas Stars. So I mean, we're still as the top team, but yeah, definitely worries me that we've lost back to back
Well,
games.
why don't somebody hit Brock Nelson with an ice pick because he's in an igloo?
Southgate, you're expecting wonders from this guy, and I'm wondering why you're expecting wonders from this guy.
No, but I expect him to score a goal within 10 games.
Yeah, but you act like this guy's got like top ice time, and he's the first line. Like this guy is not our
He had 8
star.
shots on goal,
He's not a star though, Southgate. He's a role player.
but he's not even
Yeah.
getting assists.
Well,
You're
Southgate, I just want to put something into perspective for you for Brock Nelson. Typically, they switch him from second to third line centerman. And on now in his previous team, the Islanders, he was playing a lot of first line minutes. So that just really shows you how much time he decreases now. Whereas you're right. Yeah, that's a lot of shots on net. But were they quality shots? You have to also look at that. I don't know. I think it's just a mix of Brock Nelson being behind some good guys who are Natchez is scoring, McKinnon's scoring, Nichushkin is scoring, Taves
Makar.
and McCarr is scoring. So I don't know. I just think maybe he's just not. It's not falling for him right now.
Well, also, Boston, another goal. You know who?
Pasternak finally awakened from his slumber.
He
So
has
that
been a machine.
Yep.
But A-Train, your boys, I still think that what they're doing too. If you notice, the Penguins game in the third period, they kind of slowed down their momentum. They knew that the game was where it was, and they were like, "Well, let's not waste any unwanted energy. Let's save some of this." And they started mixing up line combinations.
Yep.
So I still think your team is they're going to be ready. With it, what worries me though is with you do have a game in hand on the Star, so that's great. You at least have one game more than them, even though you're 2 points ahead. Your losers have actually three right now because remember they lost that one game against the Jets recently,
Oh
3-1
yeah, I
before the
forgot.
Pens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Hallebuck was playing out. We've just gone against good goalies up to this point. I've seen outstanding goalie play in the last three games that I've seen. Hallebuck, obviously, your goalie, and then again Dallas's goalie last night was. They're just playing good hockey. Just all three teams are actually playing good hockey.
Yeah, the Wild, they're playing. The Wild actually have been playing the least well out of the three of the top teams. They've only split their last 10 games, 4-4-2. But, the Mammoth, they've gone 5-3-2. That's who's gonna be facing either you or Dallas. I think it's still gonna be you. I don't know. I think the Avalanche will secure that one seed just to make sure they have that home ice advantage.
We got one more game against Dallas, so I mean the last three have been awesome. So I don't expect that one to sell to any shorter than a magical game. So one more on the fourth. So that's circle that on your calendars. The one game that I want to hit on tonight, though, before we go any farther, is there's a big game in the Atlantic tonight, right? It's Montreal versus Detroit, right? So the reason why this is such a big game, right, is the Red Wings can leapfrog, right, and be in a top three divisional spot with a win tonight. So that is one game I definitely think you guys should focus on. Any hockey fan should focus on tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Another game I'm really interested in. I'm glad you brought it up. Is sorry, I just had it up in front of me. I want to see what happens. I'm going to be watching the Islanders very close from here on out. And the reason being is the standings. That's it. The Islanders are right with the Penguins, right there. They're neck and neck. I obviously
Yep.
I want to see them lose, but that's a team
Right.
I'm really interested in. You hit the nail on the head. Canadians, Red Wings. I love the Canadians' young team. If they don't do a lot this year, they're going to be scary to see next year. I'm really
I've
excited
I've
for their
actually
future.
been watching both games very closely since they started, and Montreal had 10 shots on goal in the first period, and the other team had 12 shots on goal.
So there you go. They're going back and forth already.
Yep.
One last game that I do want to mention, besides, I know Mammoth and Golden Knights, our friend Jake is going to be interested in that later on. But the Panthers and Oilers is interesting me. Uh, there's a lot going on with the Panthers right now. They're starting to play a lot better. If you guys notice, all of a sudden it's like they're trying to kick the tires and make teams' life hard. Even though they're at the bottom of their division, they're trying to make teams' life hard. But the Oilers, that's who we want to kind of break into next year. They got some bad news recently. Leon Draisaitl is going to be out for the rest of the year, for the rest of the playoffs. This is a huge blow to them. They're very top heavy as a hockey team. Their Hyman is still there, obviously, Nugent Hopkins, but beyond that top six, without Draisaitl, A Train, I'm not moved by what I see there.
Yeah. Do you want to just break into that segment? You want to talk about the Oilers just straight up right now?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
real
we
quick, Gremlin update: Matthew Schaefer goal, 1-0 Islanders. Just as you said it.
There you go, the rookie phenom. Who we will touch on the rookies after we talk about the Oilers. But yeah, that's not good for me. But the Oilers,
Right.
A Train, top heavy, lost Drysidle. He's not coming back. Period.
Yep, big hit on the boards, right, in that Predators game, and that's what's going to sideline him for the rest of the season. Obviously, the coach, I was reading reports that they think that maybe he could possibly somehow playoff time if they're still in it, he could come back. I just don't see it as a likely thing. This snaps the streak, obviously, for Draisaitl. 4 consecutive 100-point seasons for 100-point seasons. His absence takes away that top tier power play, in my opinion, Grim. I mean, I was reading kind of some of the stats on them today. Despite having a great offense, right? They're ranked second in goals for, right? The Oilers, they just can't keep the puck out of the net defensively. So I'm seeing a lot of inconsistent defense and goalie play from this team. They rank 28th out of 32 in goals against, and they have rotated 3 goalies, right, this season, and still are struggling with giving up 4 goals per game. That's was the interesting stats that I read on today.
Yeah, the Oilers, to me, are a conundrum right now. I do think that they're still a good team, and they're gonna play. If it's the Golden Knights, it'll be a tough series for the Golden Knights. But without Draisaitl, you're right. The power play unit, I think you nailed it right on the head. He and McDavid and Nugent Hopkins on that top power play unit, they're just like clockwork. It's almost a given that one of those guys is going to be involved in the goal that will be scored on the power play. And I think this is also going to put more strain on an Edmonton defense that already still, even with the addition of Connor Murphy, is not that good. You
They're like the
also
Bengals. They're like super. They're super offsetting because their offense is so
yes.
good and their defense is so bad. So they rank first in power play, and they rank 26th in penalty kill. So they're like complete opposite sides.
That's wow. See, I knew their power play ranking, but yeah, I did not know the penalty kill ranking. That's awful. And I mean, like
That's
you said,
bad.
they've only let up in the last 5 games. There's only been one game where they've let up 2 games where they've let up less than 2 goals.
Yep,
They're
that's what I'm saying. That's that defensive play. They've lost 9 times in overtime. So as Southgate was bringing up how your team might struggle in shootouts,
yep.
dude, this team is not good in overtime.
No, no, and it's not even like they get to shootouts. They just lose in overtime. A
Yep.
lot of it is just a straight up goal in overtime, 3-on-3. That's it, end the game. And another thing too, though, here's the weird part, right? They lose Drysidle, and yeah, they put up the Sharks. They beat the Sharks 5-3, right? But the Sharks are a team that are on the rise, and they're going to be there later. To me, that just shows that they're taking advantage of the situation. And something that I saw that, I mean, I get what he's trying to do to motivate the team. Is Stan Bowman, when he was asked about the injury, he said, "Oh, it'll be a blessing in disguise. He'll be rested and he'll be fresh for the playoffs." Even though one, with the type of injury, they're saying that he could be out, and that's one thing he's throwing out there that we're not sure about yet. And two, he he says this will be the second year in a row he'll have missed some time leading in, and he's always unbelievable in the playoffs.
Yep. And they added Connor Murphy at the deadline, Graham, and like the defensive pairings are still struggling. Like
Yeah.
you think that they would be clicking a little bit more defensively. So that's what I broke this down, looked at it. That's what I'm seeing. They're super lopsided. They're so good offensively, but really bad defensively and in the net.
Yeah, Tristan Jari has been very bad since being traded over there. That wonderful trade that Kyle Dubas was able to make to get a pick as well as Stuart Skinner. I'm happy with that all day. But even Connor Ingram, when they throw him in, he looks nothing like the former player he used to be for Utah.
Right.
He looks nothing like that guy. I don't know what happened. Obviously it can't be the push from Nate McKinnon into him because he was playing terrible before that.
Yeah, no
Um,
shit.
yeah, so we can't even blame that. Southgate, have you been paying attention to any of the Oilers games since before and after Draisaitl's been hurt?
Yes, I have. Actually, hold on. Let me look at. I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, with Draisaitl, I'll tell you what, the points, you nailed it, A-Train. Only 65 games. He had 97 points. He's a plus 13. But here's the impressive part is 16 power play goals.
Yep. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, Nugent Hopkins has been stepping up.
Yeah, Nugent Hopkins I like him. He's a former first round pick that had a lot of hype around him before, a couple years before Connor McDavid, part of this young group. Another guy who's been stepping up is Podkolzin.
Yep.
The young man there, he's been stepping up as best he can. Roslovich seems to have slowed down. It seems like the steam that he had for me just was not working. Savoy is in and out, too much up and down, and the bottom six have not been doing a good job. Henry, Kapanen, Frederick, Dickinson. Like I said, I'm just not moved by what I'm seeing by the Oilers. I don't like what I'm seeing from them going into the playoffs.
Nah, and they're right in the thick of it, right? This team is not, it's definitely time to hit the panic button, but they're still in the thick of it when it comes to the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to my eyes, if they lose in the playoffs, say they get a first round exit, I take that as an opportunity, knowing Connor McDavid's going to be there next year, knowing that they're going to have the same group next year, get the rest, come back together, put forth that effort. This might just be a bad luck slide. Who knows? Maybe Draisaitl does come back earlier than expected
Right.
and turns it on. But if he's not there in the first round, and it's where it's shaken up right now with the Golden Knights against the Oilers, I see the Golden Knights in 6 or 7 winning a series there.
Yeah, Jake's team's looking a little bit stronger for this little playoff matchup that they're on a collision course.
The Rangers just tied it up 2-2. Graham, I want to ask you a question. Was Barzell hurt?
Matthew Barzell. Let me check. I was not paying attention to the lineup for the Islanders heading in. But as of right now, they're saying that no, he should be in the lineup.
No, I'm saying it's today his first game back.
I don't think so. I thought he maybe he stepped out
before.
Well, Matthew Barzal, he had that amazing rookie season where he won the Calder Trophy back in 17-18. That was a surprise, but the last few games, he's been on the ice. The last game he had 3 assists against Toronto in that win, but before that he's blank on the score sheet. He's been a very streaky player, at least for these last 5 games, but he's a consistent guy for the Islanders. He's good down the ice first. He's good at winning a face-off when he needs to. He's a good player. And so with that, the Oilers, I wish them the best, obviously. I like seeing Connor McDavid in the playoffs. He does what a superstar does. He steps up when he's supposed to, unless it's last year in Game 5 and Game 6 in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
But, and with that, we're going to go ahead and take a real quick break, guys. And we're going to run through an ad. Please stick with us. We really appreciate it because we're just going to give some love to some of the other shows on here. And we're going to come back and talk about some of these cool rookies that are exceeding expectations.
Number Friday nights, 9 Eastern. It's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Move podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Move podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Tap into the Not Move podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the scrap sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcast. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
A whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind. Ringside
Every Thursday night, the Not Move podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same on.
The world's game has a new home. Tap into the Not Move podcast every Sunday night at 9 Eastern. It's the football edition, and I'm bringing you the El Uncle Max attack, everything World Cup, every angle, every goal. Breakdowns, laughs, and all the passion in the pitch. Stay locked, stay ready.
Morning bettors, welcome back to Angling the Odds on the Not Move podcast.
Every Monday and Friday, we tear into lines, probabilities, and hidden edges across the boards.
We run the numbers, chart the trends, and find value plays so you can tilt the odds your way.
Live at 10:30 Eastern. Mark it, lock it, and join the conversation.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for hanging with us through the ads. Please go check out some of the other Not Move podcast shows. Especially, we're gearing up for football since the draft is coming. So you're going to see more of A-Train and Southgate and me for our respective football shows. Especially, these guys have an AFC West show coming up just to talk about some of the offseason moves here. And so
we'll also be doing the baseball.
Yeah, Southgate's got a show coming up for Mondays called The Rusty Mitt. And Coach Common might also be joining that. And I'm going to try and help Southgate host because Southgate knows a lot more about baseball than I do. So I'm just going to let him rip and set him up for some long shots. Now, the rookies. This has been an impressive season for some of the rookies here. It's not, A-Train, you and I know. First round, it's this when you get drafted in the first round of the NHL, if you're past the top 10, you're not always going to play. Usually some of these guys get sent back to juniors or get sent down to the AHL team or back to their minor clubs in their junior league so they can develop, get better. And this year we seem to have just a nice crop that has shown up, haven't we?
Yep. Facts. I mean, I was just going to throw this in here because I always got to shout out my guys. You know who the youngest winner of this trophy is?
I would assume it's probably Nate McKinnon.
At 18 years old, Nathan McKinnon is the youngest to win the trophy.
Wow. That's really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to throw that in there. Obviously, and Graham, correct me if I'm wrong, the odds-on favorite, I mean, we could have, obviously, Southgate break down the odds, but Matthew Schaefer, right, the defenseman for the New York Islanders, he's probably the top candidate right now, right? The workhorse, leads in ice time right now. Would you put him at 1 right now?
I would put him at 1 right now. There is a very close number 2 who's emerging recently. Maybe a little bit of a slower start in the beginning of the season, but right now they're starting to pick up speed, some votes. But with what Matthew Schaefer has done, not even points wise, I'm looking at the team that I watch this team a lot. He's in my division, and they play the Pens very well. They play my Pittsburgh Penguins very well the last few years. And this guy has the whole team rallying with him. He's already starting to become the leader at such a young age. Already, it's like Nate McKinnon when Nate McKinnon was on Colorado. You just see it. Crosby, you see it. It's a superstar effect. I didn't expect this from him this year. I don't think a lot of people did, even when he got drafted number 1. Southgate, do you still think the odds they do show Matthew Schaefer winning? Do you still think he's going to win this the Calder Trophy this year?
Could you give me a minute to check the odds?
Yes, sir.
We'll just continue while he looks it up, Graham.
Because Matthew Schaefer, 49 games played, he has 56 games or 68, and he has 49 points. He has 20 goals. A-Train as a defenseman.
Wow, that's crazy. That's some Kel McCarr shit right there. Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to go with your number 2, or you want me to tell you my number 2?
I'd like to hear your number 2 first.
All right, I'm gonna go Beckett Sinecki. The forward for Anaheim. I see consistency with this guy. I think that he's probably my number 2.
Yeah, I had him actually number 3.
Okay.
My number 2 is Ivan Demidov from Montreal.
Yep.
He's finally getting his full year to play, and he's been showing out when he needs to. What I like about him too, though, is he's a +4. Where why I have Seneke at number 3 is he's a -14. He's on the ice for a lot of bad goals, and that's where I just dock him a little bit. Is I've seen him play. And man, he and Leo Carlson, that's going to be a scary duo for the Ducks to come, huh?
Facts. Yeah. I have him at number 3. So we just switched our 2 and 3. So we're kind of in the same realm right here.
Yeah. And then I'll go with my number 4. Then you can tell me if you have the same guy. I do have Ryan Leonard, the right winger from Washington.
Wow. Okay. So we changed here because I did not have him. I have Jesper Wallstedt, the goalie for Minnesota, the goaltender. That's who I have as my number 4.
Yeah, he probably will get over Leonard. What I like about Leonard, I just think I just like watching the elite play. Wallstead was right below him. That was my next guy. So
Okay.
it's once again, I just flopped you. Yeah. So
yeah,
that one for me, I could easily see Wallstead ahead for sure.
Yeah. So
from what I've seen with the odds is Schaefer's gonna run away with it. It's not even gonna be close.
What is it, like a -1800?
He's -3500.
Oh shit!
Jeez, wow. So who's next on that list, Southgate?
They had second place Ivan
Demidov.
Yes.
Demidov. Okay. And then who's third?
And was it Seneke or
Yep.
Seneke, yep.
Yep.
That makes sense. Who you having fourth there?
Hold on 1 second. It is Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who is after him?
That's it. He's plus 20,000.
Oh wow.
So
yeah, Jesper has a nice case, out of the 29 games. He's played 27. He started. He's 14-7. His save percentage is really impressive. He's at 91%. But his goals against average 2.78, and he's done a really good job this year. I like that he and Gustafsson, they've kind of been able to utilize those two. And remember, A-Train, he was all over the trade block at first for a moment there in the first couple months, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. That's what I was seeing too. What's the odds that a goalie wins this award? It's not very common, is it? Or I'd have to look at
this particular one. I think Southgate probably has. He said plus 20,000. That's probably what it would. It might even be greater just for a straight up goalie to win.
Yeah.
If you do goalies versus forwards.
I mean, how many goalies actually start their rookie year?
And that's another thing. Yes, sometimes goalies don't start like some goalies' rookie years are actually they've been drafted for a couple years, but they've been sitting in the minors developing.
Right.
So that's kind of like they still in some stat circles. Artur Shilov, my goaltender for the Penguins, is still kind of considered a goalie for some reason, which makes no sense to me because he played in a playoff series with the Canucks. But then again, he didn't have enough regular season games under his belt to qualify as a goaltender, as a rookie.
Right.
So it does make sense. But to your point, A-Train, the last Calder Trophy winner to be a goalie was in 2008, 2009, Steve Mason, when he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then here's the crazy part, A-Train. Before that, it was kind of common. 03, 04, Andrew Raycroft from the Bruins. I remember that one. And then 2001, of course, Evgeny Nabokov from the San Jose Sharks. But before that, only a couple in the 90s, one in the 80s. It is infrequent.
That's what I was kind of thinking. I didn't know because I didn't look that up today, but I had a feeling because I don't remember a lot of goalies winning that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One other player, two others. Ben Kindle, real quick for the Pens, really impressed. I didn't think he was going to make the roster. So that's why I just want to shout him out. Good job, Ben Kindle. I hope you do well in the playoffs and keep progressing. Oliver Kapanen also for Montreal. That's why I keep saying this Montreal team. next year, I really think is going to be the year for them. Next year is where it's all going to come to pass. Slavkovsky, they have Kapanen, they have Demidov, Suzuki,
Yep.
what's his name? Cole.
Suzuki is a point
Caulfield.
machine. They
There's
also
a-
have the other kid, Hudson.
Yeah, Lane Hudson. I haven't even mentioned him, and he's the rookie phenom, also
Yeah.
on defense, second year. It's a scary team that's young and gonna gel together, and that might be the team that if I don't want to say it, and I don't want it to happen. I'm gonna knock on wood. That might be the next Stanley Cup winning Canadian NHL team. Just that might
Damn,
be the
Graham.
one.
Damn, Graham. I didn't expect you to do that.
I haven't
can
seen
see
a
it.
roster this young and good that I like for quite some time. I'm really impressed. They've even got the goaltending with Dobis and Montembeau, and even with their defensemen Matheson and Hudson, like Southgate mentioned, they're not doing what they need to right now, but they will, and it's going to be scary for the rest of the NHL when that time comes.
Yep.
And Graham Pinto just tied it up 1-1.
Senators doing their job. That's what I like to see. I'm always happy when they listen to us. It's because they rarely do. But the Canadians right now sitting in that third position in the Atlantic, they are going to make the playoffs. It looks like they are going to play probably the Lightning. That's going to be
Yep.
a big wake up call for them, I think.
Yep.
And also, I just found out today that Jake the Snake Gunsel became the fastest player in Lightning history to score 150 points. He did it in 140 games, 141 or 140 games. So congrats to Jake. That guy just keeps doing better and better every year. Southgate, before we transition on out of here to the NMP guy that we want to talk about, have there been some rookies or even just some young guys this year that you latched onto that you really like?
Well, that's my thing. I'm still struggling with everyone's age. But I mean, if you tell me that Montreal team is that young, that guy Suzuki is a points machine.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is.
Yeah, Nick Suzuki he's still young too. I believe he's only right now 26.
Yeah.
Cole Caulfield, he isn't much older.
Tell me some of the younger players on the other teams, like how old is a Flip Forsberg and those guys?
So Forsberg is an older player. You know, he has been in the league for quite some time now. He's still good, but yes, he's older. He is right now 31, which for him, he's been playing in the league since his early 20s. So it's been quite a while.
And who's the youngest player on the Kings?
The Kings right now. I know Byfield is pretty young. Let me check their current roster to see who's actually brought up because they might have brought someone up that I don't know about. Right now, their youngest player is a couple of them, 23 years old. Jared Wright, Samuel Hellenius, Quentin Byfield. He's still one of the youngest players. And then, Brant Clark, exciting defenseman there for them.
Okay.
He's only 22 years old.
Yep.
And then, of course, for A-Train's team, the Avalanche, they have nothing but young guys, it seems like right now. They're all actually
they
just
have
their
a great
prime.
team.
Yeah, because Brindley, he is young. He's 21. That's something that they're developing. I love this guy's name, Ivan.
Right.
I just want to call him Ivan 2 times or Ivan squared. But he's only 23. So the Avalanche are developing young guys. And the Penguins, Kyle Dubas has done a great job of just overhauling the team. And Southgate, your Hurricanes are still one of the younger teams in the league too, despite having still being there for a while.
That guy's fucking playing lights out. 700 points. This guy's fucking amazing, right?
He's been incredible.
He has been really amazing. The other guy,
Ehlers.
He has been amazing
Ehlers.
too.
Yeah, he had 3 assists against the Penguins. He did a great job that game to help them come back and win.
Yep.
Seth Jarvis, too. Want to shout him out. I like
Yes.
Seth Jarvis a lot.
Good pull.
He's a constant point getter, whether it's a couple assists or a goal. He's always showing up. And that,
How young or old is that Tampa Bay team?
so the Lightning are a little bit older. They do have some young pieces. But like you're looking at guys like Victor Hedman who are in the downside of their career. But you've got guys like Bjorkstrand who's only 30. Cernak 28, but Nikita Kucherov, that guy, he's 32. That's the type of guy who's on the downside, even though he doesn't look like it. Jake the Snake, he is 31, but Brandon Hagel's 27. Braden Point is 29. So they're right at that peak age for their team where everybody's pretty much right around their peak, and they've only got a couple young guys. The one I'm concerned with is, of course, Vasilevsky. He's 31, and I'm interested to see how much longer he can keep playing at such a high rate.
The skis.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the skis, that's for sure.
And someone else me and A-Train were talking about has been doing an unbelievable job is Charlie McAvoy has been absolute points machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cannot stand McAvoy. He plays for the
I'm
Bruins.
sure you
It's
can,
respect.
but, I mean,
It's all out of respect. That's why.
he has been getting so many points.
In the last 5 games,
Yes.
he has 7 points. He's been just on the dot. The problem is the Bruins aren't turning these opportunities into wins. Their last 2 losses were in overtime against who? The young Montreal team, and then New Jersey Devils with Captain America Jack Hughes.
He's another one. Jack Hughes. What do you have? 4 or 5 points last night?
Yeah, he's been playing unbelievable the last couple of games. I've watched him.
Yeah, he had that slow, just minor slow start right after the Olympics. Just a couple games there where he was lagging, but now it's back to 3 points. Last 2 games he's had 6 points.
How old is Kyle Connor and Morgan Geeky and those guys?
So Geeky is still young. Geeky's around 25, I want to say 24, 25, because actually he was drafted Southgate by Carolina, and then they traded him.
I mean, he was hot. He got a little cold, but he was hot for a while, Geeky.
Yeah, Geeky has started to slow down, which you've been talking about with some of the parlays you've been laying down. But Kyle Connor's 29. He's in his goal scoring prime. He's starting to really come on now the last 5 games, particularly the last game. He had 3 assists in the shootout loss to Nashville. But there was also, who did you ask about besides Connor? Geeky, Morgan.
Another player I've been watching. I like Cousins also. Dylan Cousins.
Dylan Cousins is very good. He's young as well. Dylan Cousins is still young. He's one of those young guys the NHL really likes seeing. He's only 24, 25 years old. His last 5 games, though, has been not very good. This is the time of year where he's been known to slump a little bit more. So we'll see what happens with Dylan Cousins. But real quick, is there anybody you want to touch on, Southgate, before we take a quick break, before we talk about your selected player?
You could go ahead. Do you think? Just real quick, what do you think about the Utah-Vegas game tonight?
Man, that's a tricky game. I don't like what I'm seeing from.
Be high scoring or low scoring or what?
Well, the problem is the 2 players that we need to score for Utah have not been scored. Logan Cooley has been cooled off. He's young. This is only his 2nd year, but Logan Cooley's cooled off, and Clayton Keller has not done a lot. They need those 2 guys to produce. I honestly don't see Utah winning tonight. I think Vegas is probably going to rout them a little bit, maybe like a 4-2 game, even a 5-2 game, Vegas.
I got you.
And, of course, you might want to look at your boy, Jack Eichel. And Anderson finally scored for Rasmus Anderson finally scored. Jake was happy about that today because he's just been sitting there not doing much, and finally he's getting on the board.
And what do you think of Mark Stone as a player?
Mark Stone is a man made of glass. And as much as I like him when he's on the ice, I don't like paying a guy $11 million to ride the bench for 3/4 of the season.
Oh, really? He's making that much, huh?
He's making a lot of money. He's making a lot more than what he. Let's put it this way: nothing against Mark Stone, because if we remember that Stanley Cup run for Vegas,
was
Mark
crucial. Yep.
Stone was awesome. He propped that team up on his shoulders. You know, Jack Eichel was there, but he propped that team up on his shoulders. But he's a 9.5 cap hit every year for what? This is now supposedly this is his last season. Well, next year will be his last season. They have him for one more year at 9.5 million. But look at the games he's played since signing this contract, and it's not good. It doesn't justify how much he makes. I'm sorry, I just don't. What do we always say? The best ability is availability. And Mark Stone, 56 games, 43 games, 37 games,
I
46
did not
games,
know
and then he
that
shows
about
up in the playoffs. So,
I did not know
sorry,
that
Jake.
about him.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, sorry, Jake. No shade towards you, but shade towards Mark Stone. He needs
He
to be a
probably
little
knows it.
bit,
I said the same.
made a sturdier stone. But
Okay, well, you gentlemen may continue.
Well, you better hang out here because
I'm
this
here.
is your player that we're
You
doing
picked
here.
him.
Yes.
Yeah, you picked him.
I'm very impressed by him.
Well, hang out for 15 seconds here because we're
So
going to
now
get right
glaze
back.
him.
You better glaze him. We'll be right
Not
back.
Move Podcast presents the Ringside Rewind, your weekly whiplash recap of everything happening on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown.
Every twist, every pop, every powerbomb, we're breaking it all down.
If it shook the ropes, we've got it. Stream it everywhere you get your podcasts.
So, everyone, that's a quick break to talk about Robert's show. Robert has been doing a great job of getting some interviews with some MMA and boxing fighters over there on Millions. If you've been paying attention to his TikTok, he's been generating some awesome clips from the interviews he's been getting. Also, our main man in the booth, JB. JB's been getting some great interviews over there at Millions with some fighters and mixed martial artists. So, and I had an interview that I was very privileged to do yesterday with Mr. Brian Propp, Philadelphia Flyers legend. If you guys can go check us out on Millions, I know our boy A-Train is on there. He's going to be getting set up with some interviews, and soon to be Southgate, and also our coach, Coach Common, is over there as well. So please come check out what we're doing on Millions because it's also transitioning over to here, and we really appreciate all of it. Now, this is the guy who we want to talk about this week, Toronto Maple Leafs. William Nylander. He is still relatively a young man in his prime. He is 29 years old, was drafted in the first round, 8th overall in the 2004 NHL entry draft. An impressive draft too, huh, A-Train? There's some names on this one.
Yeah, 8th overall, right? 8th overall pick in that draft. I'm actually glad you picked this guy, Southgate. This was a good pull. I'm glad we're talking about this guy. Did you want me to go, or did you want to go, Grem? Do you want to talk about him? I'll talk about him.
Yeah, I want you to go ahead and I'm just gonna pick some pieces out here afterwards, and I want to hear Southgate. I know me and A-Train really want to hear afterwards why you like Nylander as well.
All right, so obviously Southgate, he's the Swedish forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs. His nickname is Willie Styles, right? So I didn't know that until I looked it up today. He's a very good fast skater. When I watch this guy skate, he's quick. He's super quick getting down the ice. In 2017, he won a gold medal, and he was named MVP. In 2024, he was an All-Star, so one-time All-Star as well. He has been a model of high-end production on a bad team, in my opinion, right? So this team is in the bottom of the rankings and the standings, and he's been kind of that shining star along with his compadre, right? At times, he outperforms that guy, which is Austin Matthews. He's a big factor on the power play. He tallied 15 points so far this season. That's what I got to say positive about this guy. I like him as a player. Now, on the downside of it, right, he missed several games in January with a groin injury, and he's going to be huge down the stretch for the Leafs, and that's just to be somewhat relevant. So I don't want to totally shit on the guy, but he needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, you're not kidding. This year it seems like it's just the falling of the Leaf Empire, right? I think the extenuating circumstances because the last 4 years he has been healthy, but before that, like you said, bitten by the injury bug so much before the last 4 years. He's only playing an average of like 60 games, basically 57 games minus, 2 years there. But that 4 year stretch, he's producing 80 points, 87, 98 points, 84. He's one of the top point getters only behind Mitch Marner last year. Even Austin Matthews, though Austin Matthews is scoring, he's still not producing quite the amount of points that William Nylander is. And Nylander is a power play specialist, like you said. He's very, very, very good on the power play. But I like what you brought up about his international success. Seems like these Swedish guys really play well at the international level. And I know you and I have seen him not just in juniors, but the Olympics. We noticed him right away.
Right. Yeah, that's what stood out to me. Obviously, I was kind of just like browsing through his accolades and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, a lot of it's done through internationally, right? I like him as a player. I do like him as a player. I just wish he would be healthy for a full season. This team needs, there's been trade talks. I don't know if you heard the rumblings that it's either him or Austin Matthews is going to go, right? Before next year or during the trade deadline next year. So that's going to be the thing. Are they going to keep both of them?
Yeah, William Nylander has a big contract hit too.
That's the
He's
thing.
making 11.5 million per. To think about that now, that it's actually kind of a decent deal for a superstar type of guy. Looking at what Kirill Kaprizov just signed last year or earlier
Right.
this year, which is what 17 he's going to be making, and of course with the NHL cap going up, that's to be expected to see these contracts. But remember when he signed this in what was it 2024 or 2023
Mhm.
when he signed the extension 2024,
Yeah.
all of us saw the price tag and we were like, whoa,
Yeah.
11.5 million. They're already
Right.
paying Austin Matthews this. They're paying
Mhm.
Mitch Marner this. And we knew the contract for Mitch Marner was up this last year. So that's where I see it. I'm with you. I don't know how they're going to retain both of these guys. And it seems like the Leafs are just right now this year just hasn't been a good year for them. This is maybe it was Mitch Marner who was really key to a lot of that success, but he's a different guy we can talk about at another time. One thing I do want to point out is I went through William Nylander's scouting report because I like to take a look at these guys' scouting reports at the time. Um, so one of the things that they saw is his offensive skills were fantastic. Some of the best hands in the draft class, and that's with Draisaitl. That's a draft class with Draisaitl, right?
Mhm.
So his skating, high speed, very good on his edges, excellent acceleration, and his lateral agility is just off the charts. They said shot, often described as a sniper, which we've seen exhibited numerous times where he's hitting a nice top shelf beauty or just getting it through the 5 hole. He's very good and strong on the puck, which he is strong on the puck. But some of the negatives also is, he is a little bit careless with the puck at times, which we have seen that. And I don't want to, I know that can be all circumstantial, right? Can't blame all the bad bounces on just a player handling the puck at the time. Sometimes they just happen. But they also gave him like, this is the one I didn't really like. And I don't know, maybe one of the older guys saying he was a fancy play stylist. And I remember watching him in juniors, and I never took him to be this fancy play stylist when he had the
Yeah,
puck.
who said that?
I'm looking at one of the scouting reports, and it only has a couple initials next to it. But fancy play stylist, that just doesn't jump out to me. He can, right? He can be fancy as heck if he wants to be, but
Maybe that's what
fancy
it
play
is.
stylist, I think that's a big miss.
Yeah.
But overall, this year too, a respectable 63 points in 52 games, 23 goals. And here's the glaring problem: -6. I've been very good being able to contain the puck.
Yeah, that's what I
So
wanted to ask you. Was I noticed in the last 10 games, he has 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists, but he's a -5. Is that
yes,
because the team is bad, or is that more on him?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
He's not known for his defensive prowess. He's not known for being that type of guy that is going to constantly also, go dirty for those pucks all the time. But the Leafs are just on a downward trend. They're 2-5-3 in their last 10 games. It's just not good for the Leafs right now. They peaked, especially they lost Austin Matthews. That dirty hit from Gudis.
Yeah.
Once again,
Knee to knee.
Radko Guda.
Yep, it was that knee to knee one, huh?
Yeah, where Guda I think only got 5 games, which
Yeah.
was the same amount of games that Evgeny Malkin got for his hack a slash.
Yeah.
Hey George Peros, maybe it's time to stop being so friendly to the goons and start doing your job. I don't know. These are NHL players. You figure since you were a thug and how many dirty plays you injured guys with, maybe you'd have a little bit more compassion. But hey, George Peros, keep doing you. It's working.
Damn, Grim.
I mean, obviously, Graham, they do have with Nylander and Matthews. They do have some talent on that team.
Oh yeah.
So, what do you think is missing, like to make them a better team?
So one thing that's missing is right now, I think Craig Berube's on his way out the door. I think his time, it's just maybe one of those hockey situations where, hey, he's been here, 2 years, but 2 years is enough, right? Because they got him right after his Stanley Cup championship tenure in St. Louis ended. And I also think pieces of the team, Southgate. I think there's pieces of the team that they're going to have to really take a look at. Um, Oliver Ekman Larson is getting up there in age. He's 34. He's a bit slower. They're going to want to also look at players like Yarncrook. They want to see if they're going to even want to retain a 34-year-old guy like with him. Matthew Knees, of course, is a bright spot, and he's only 23. He's going to stay.
The knees.
But got to watch out for the knees, Southgate.
Yeah.
And
So,
then
would you say that Tampa Bay is a team that needs another 1 or 2 years of reconstruction, or is it a team
you
that's
mean
on the?
Toronto? You mean
I'm
Toronto,
getting
right?
around that. I mean
Okay.
Toronto. Another 2 years of reconstruction, or a team that could be on the rise.
Reconstruction, in my opinion. I mean,
Yes.
their defense is in the mid to upper 30s for the most part. They need to get rid of Troy Stetcher. They need to get rid of Chris Tanev. They need to. I think it was a mistake re-signing Jonathan Tavares for as long as they did. I didn't like the size of that contract either for as little as he puts out.
So now, when they do hockey reconstruction, do they strip a team bare down to the bone, or will they keep the Nylander and Austin and build around those guys, or what?
So this is an interesting one with this situation, being that they got a guy like Tavares who has a sizable contract but could be useful for another team. They might explore offseason trades to get him to a Stanley Cup contender because that's ultimately, I'm sure, what he wants, even though he is playing on his childhood favorite team, Maple Leafs. But you know, they have contracts that aren't friendly to move. That's one of the things too. That's also, unfortunately, Kyle Dubas played a part in that the last couple of years he was there. And this current GM is playing part in that. But they need to move people like Jake McCabe now. I think he's just fulfilled his time there. It's no Morgan Riley even. It's going to be pieces where you keep the main pieces. You keep Knees, you keep Nylander, you keep Matthews. And you look at that defense and you choose one between Morgan Riley and McCabe and Ekman Larson. But you can make trades with these guys to regroup. Look what Kyle Dubas did recently with the Pens.
Yeah.
They were out of the playoffs the last 3 years. He made a couple small key trades outside of the big Carlson trade, and now they're in the playoff mix. If this GM can do the same thing, Maple Leafs can be a contender next year. They got a superstar in Austin Matthews and the guy that we're talking about, the superstar William Nylander. You there, Southie?
Oh, wait, update for you guys. 1-0 Montreal.
There we
Who
go.
scored?
Who do you think?
Was it our
Gotta
boy?
watch out for the
Knees. Matthew Knees getting in the game.
Skis.
The skis and the knees and
The skis with an assist from,
Our boy.
who do you think?
I'm going to say our boy William Nylander.
No. No, I'm talking about Montreal.
I was going to say Slavkovsky.
Slavkovsky
scored and Suzuki and Caulfield.
That's it. You got it right on the money.
Damn, Graham knows his shit.
Those guys, I'm telling you, that team, if I wasn't a big Pittsburgh Penguins team and I was looking for a team to glom onto because of their youth, I'm telling you, I'm really excited for them, and I don't like it for the East.
No, they are a good team that's coming together. And you know what? Speaking of which, I have been watching the guy Knees too. He is a very good hockey player. How old is he?
Matthew Knees is only 23 years old. He's very, very young.
Yeah.
That's why the Maple Leafs have these players. Like, I think they need to get rid of Max Domi also. They brought him back. I don't like him. I don't think he brings some grit, but I just don't think he brings what they need to the table for that bottom six. And they've had to play him at top six a lot because now with Austin Matthews out, you got to just kind of pull together what you can. And as you can see by these games, it's just not working out for them. And good luck to them next year. But William Nylander, I think, is a wonderful player. And I'm glad that we were able to pick someone maybe not like, I'm sure people want us to talk about Austin Matthews, right? A-Train. Everybody loves Austin Matthews.
Loves him.
Especially after the Olympics.
Yep.
But we gotta pick teams for the next ones still until the playoffs come that aren't going to make the playoffs. I know before we talked about the Rangers, that might be on the docket. We're going to see who else is in the bottom. And hey, any of you people out there, I see we were getting some cool comments like this, A-Train. Everybody's getting more and more into hockey because I'm sure it's Southgate trying to warn everybody about the skis more so than anything. But
I actually had the ski for a first goal tonight.
This guy.
But I had him. I made the mistake. What do you think the mistake I made was?
You picked points.
I had him with Geeky.
Every time.
You and that geek.
I gotta ride those cold hands till they come through.
Yeah, quit putting Brock Nelson too, and maybe he'll score.
Yeah, and then maybe when I tell you to use Anthony Mantha, you got to use Anthony Mantha because you have to use him now while he's hot. That's it. We might not see this for a while.
Yep.
But we really appreciate everyone joining us. We are going to announce later on, probably like we always do, Monday or Tuesday. We're going to talk about which player that we're going to take a look at for the next week, and we'll drop the new topics. But Southgate, anything you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
Connor Bedard just scored a goal unassisted. 2-0 Blackhawks. And no, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry my attention wasn't there, but it is a little bit of March Madness right now.
Yeah, it is March Madness. I do know that.
But
that
I do
is
love
the
the
biggest
hockey
day.
show.
Oh, well, we're glad you even showed up, Southgate. Watching out for the skis, watching out for the Cavs.
Somebody has to watch you around A-Train. You never know with him.
What did I do?
Apparently, your team's too good for his liking.
Yeah, he just gets mad because the Hurricanes are going to beat his team in the Stanley Cup final.
You got to get there first, bud. All right? out of that weak conference.
Hey,
I can't hear him.
Well, you leave my boys alone. You leave my boys alone.
Sorry. I'm pissed at both of you I'm pissed. I'm more pissed at you, Graham, but I'll leave it at that.
I mean,
so
you
I'm gonna
should
glaze
be.
out. This is my end, all right? Alex Ovechkin, right? 1 goal away from becoming
Graham,
the
I
second
can't
player
hear
in
him.
history to reach 1,000 goals. All right. So I know you shit on Ovechkin, so I'm gonna shout him out just because.
Is he saying anything nice about me?
Well, no, Southgate, he's not saying anything nice about you. He's not saying anything nice about me right now either. He's trying to rub Ovechkin's goals in my face, which, if you know me, I'm fine with that. 7-2, 7-2, and
It
2
was
goaltender
7-2.
changes. We'll leave it at that.
Who's
They
leading
had to
points?
put 3 goalies in.
How many points are you guys behind? I got
I think we're behind the same amount of points as goalies you switch at night.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Don't worry. It's regular season. We'll see playoff
And we
time.
see you again coming up. So
Yep.
you get to return the favor coming up here soon, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining. We really appreciate
All right,
it. Next
guys.
week.
Thank you as always.
Thanks, Southgate. Next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday. Join us again in the Wickets. Thanks, A-Train. Thanks, Southgate. See ya.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.